The humorless visitors Professor Sarah Chan was grading papers when the world changed forever. The coffee in her MIT office had grown cold hours ago, and red ink stained her fingers from correcting yet another student's attempt at understanding xenolinguistics. Outside her window, Boston hummed with its usual Tuesday afternoon energy, completely unaware that first contact was about to happen in the most ridiculous way possible. The emergency alert on her phone buzzed at exactly 2:47 p.m. Sarah glanced at the screen, expecting another weather warning, but instead saw something that made her nearly drop her coffee mug. Unidentified aircraft hovering over Boston Common. All citizens advised to remain indoors. Sarah rushed to her window and looked up. What she saw defied every expectation she had about how aliens might arrive on Earth. A massive gray cube, perfectly geometric and utterly boring, floated silently above the city. No spinning lights, no dramatic entrance, no mysterious humming. It looked like someone had taken the world's most boring office building and decided it needed to fly. Her phone rang. Dr. Martinez from the linguistics department sounded breathless. "Sarah, you need to get to the communications lab right now. They're transmitting something, and it's in perfect English." No translation needed. 20 minutes later, Sarah stood in the university's Advanced Communications Center, surrounded by government officials, military personnel, and fellow academics. The room buzzed with tension as technicians worked frantically at their stations. On the main screen, a message scrolled repeatedly in plain, Arial font. "Greetings, humans. We are the Serious Collective. Prepare for mandatory unfunny protocol implementation." Mandatory unfunny protocol? Sarah whispered to Dr. Martinez. "What kind of aliens are these?" Before he could answer, the screen flickered and changed. What appeared next made everyone in the room fall silent. The alien that materialized looked like a cross between a worried accountant and a very tall, very thin gray being with enormous black eyes. It wore what appeared to be a beige business suit and carried a clipboard. "Citizens of Earth," the alien began in a monotone voice that could cure insomnia. "I am designation 7742B, Supreme Coordinator of Humor Elimination for the Serious Collective. We have been monitoring your planet for approximately 50.7 of your Earth years, and we have determined that your species poses a significant threat to galactic order." Sarah leaned forward. This was not the first contact scenario any scientist had imagined. "Your species," the alien continued, "has developed what you call humor to a dangerous degree. Our analysis indicates that humans spend approximately 23.4% of their waking hours engaged in funny activities. This includes, but is not limited to, making jokes, watching comedic entertainment, sharing amusing images on digital platforms, and engaging in what you call pranks." The alien paused to consult its clipboard. "The Serious Collective has successfully eliminated humor from 47,000 civilizations across 12 galaxies. We are here to extend the same courtesy to your species." General Patterson, the military liaison, stepped forward. "And if we refuse?" "Refusal is not an option," Designation 7742B replied. "Humor is a virus that spreads chaos, reduces productivity, and prevents civilizations from achieving their maximum potential. We have come to cure you of this affliction." Sarah couldn't help herself. "Wait, let me get this straight. You traveled across the galaxy to tell us we're too funny?" "Precisely. Your species has achieved what we call critical humor mass. Left unchecked, your jokes could spread to other civilizations and undo millions of years of serious work." A snicker escaped from someone in the back of the room. The alien's large eyes turned toward the sound with the intensity of a librarian spotting a loud teenager. "That," it said, pointing a long, thin finger, "is exactly what we're here to prevent." Sarah's mind raced. As a xenolinguist, She had studied theoretical alien communication for years, but nothing had prepared her for this. "Can you tell us more about your civilization? How did you eliminate humor?" The alien's expression became even more serious, if that were possible. "Our species, the Drex, achieved perfect efficiency 10,000 years ago when we eliminated the last joke from our society. We discovered that humor served no practical purpose. It did not increase crop yields, improve technological advancement, or enhance military capabilities. Therefore, we removed it." "But," Sarah pressed, "what about happiness? Joy? The simple pleasure of laughter?" "These concepts are irrelevant to a properly functioning society," the alien replied. "We have achieved perfect order. No one argues because there is nothing to argue about. No one wastes time because there is nothing funny to distract them. No one is sad because there is nothing to make them happy first." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just about humor. It was about the very essence of what made humans human. Dr. Martinez whispered to Sarah, "This is insane. They want to turn us into robots." Sarah nodded, but her scientist's mind was already working on the problem. "Designation 7742B, she said. "I'm curious about something. If humor is so dangerous, how is it that you were able to eliminate it from so many civilizations? Wouldn't they have resisted?" The alien's clipboard rustled as it flipped through pages. "Initially, yes. However, we developed a most efficient method. We simply showed each civilization the logical benefits of seriousness. Increased productivity, reduced conflict, perfect social order. Once they understood the advantages, they voluntarily surrendered their humor." "And what happened to those civilizations afterward?" "They achieved perfect efficiency." The alien paused. "Although we do note that their population growth rates decreased significantly, and their technological advancement slowed considerably after humor elimination. But these are acceptable trade-offs for perfect order." Sarah felt a chill. Decreased population growth? Slowed advancement? That sounds like your cure was worse than the disease. "Irrelevant," the alien replied. "Order is maintained." General Patterson stepped forward again. "What exactly are you proposing?" "Simple. We will establish humor elimination centers in every major population center. Humans will report for processing, where we will remove their capacity for humor through a painless neural adjustment. Within 1 Earth year, your species will achieve the same perfect efficiency as the rest of the galaxy." The room erupted in protests, but Sarah raised her hand for silence. An idea was forming, as she needed to think quickly. "Designation 7742B, she said. "I have a proposal. You say you've studied our species for 50 years. Surely you've noticed that our humor isn't just random chaos. It's connected to our creativity, our problem-solving abilities, our innovations. What if removing our humor actually makes us less efficient, not more?" The alien's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Our calculations are precise." "But your calculations are based on your species, not ours. What if human humor actually serves a purpose you haven't considered?" Sarah could see she had the alien's attention. "I propose a test. Give us 1 week to demonstrate that human humor actually makes us more efficient, more creative, more capable of solving problems. If we can prove that our humor is beneficial rather than harmful, you'll reconsider your mission." The alien was quiet for a long moment, consulting its clipboard. "And if you fail to prove this hypothesis, then we'll submit to your process voluntarily." The room erupted in whispers and protests, but Sarah held up her hand. She had a plan, but she needed buy-in from the most humorless beings in the galaxy. 1 week, she repeated. 7 Earth days to prove that humor makes humans better, not worse. Designation 7742B considered this. "Your proposal has merit from a scientific standpoint. We do value proper experimental methodology. It paused. Very well. You have 1 week to demonstrate that humor serves a beneficial purpose for your species. However, if you fail, your species will submit to immediate processing. As the transmission ended and the alien ship fell silent above Boston, Sarah realized she had just committed the entire human race to the most important comedy show in galactic history. She had 7 days to prove that laughter wasn't just the best medicine. It was the cure for the universe's most serious problem. The countdown to the Great Joke War had begun. The Great Joke War. The next morning, Sarah stood in the MIT auditorium, facing an impossible task. She had 6 days left to save humanity's sense of humor, and she was starting with the most unlikely army ever assembled. A burnt-out software engineer named Mike, a kindergarten teacher called Mrs. Rodriguez, a failed stand-up comedian named Danny, and Professor Williams from the physics department who hadn't smiled since 1987. So, let me get this straight, Mike said, sipping his 3rd coffee of the morning. We have to out-funny the aliens who eliminated funny from half the galaxy, or they'll turn us all into boring gray people who wear business suits. That's essentially correct, Sarah replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. Rodriguez raised her hand like she was still in her classroom. But why did you volunteer us? I mean, I can make 5-year-olds laugh, but these are space aliens. Because, Sarah said, pulling up her presentation, I've been thinking about this all night. The aliens said they eliminated humor from 47,000 civilizations, but they also said those civilizations stopped growing and advancing. What if humor isn't just entertainment? What if it's actually essential for progress? Professor Williams looked up from his notes. You're suggesting humor serves an evolutionary function? Exactly. Think about it. When do humans laugh? When something unexpected happens. When we see connections between seemingly unrelated things. When we solve problems in creative ways. That's not just comedy, that's innovation. Danny, the failed comedian, snorted. Great theory, but how do we prove it to aliens who think clipboards are the height of excitement? Before Sarah could answer, the auditorium screens flickered to life. Designation 7742B appeared, looking exactly as boring as the day before. Humans, the alien announced, we have decided to begin your evaluation immediately. Please prepare your most efficient demonstration of humor's alleged benefits. Sarah stepped forward. We're ready for the challenge, but we have a counter-proposal. Instead of just showing you our humor, why don't you show us your idea of perfect entertainment? Let's see what you replaced laughter with. The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. Very well. We shall demonstrate the superior entertainment of the serious collective. The screen changed to show what appeared to be the most boring television show ever created. Gray aliens sat in perfectly straight rows, watching a presentation about optimal filing systems. Nobody moved. Nobody reacted. Nobody seemed to be enjoying anything. This is Recreation Hour 7742, the alien explained. Citizens learn about proper organization techniques while maintaining perfect posture and attention. Note the complete absence of inefficient emotional responses. Mike leaned over to Danny. I've seen more excitement at a tax audit. Mrs. Rodriguez whispered. My kindergartners would be asleep in 30 seconds. The alien continued. Now please demonstrate your allegedly superior human entertainment. Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. Danny, you're up. The failed comedian walked to the front of the auditorium, looking terrified. He glanced at Sarah, who nodded encouragingly. Okay, Danny began, his voice shaking slightly. So I heard you guys are from the Serious Collective. That's cool. I'm from the Unemployed Collective. We meet every Tuesday at the unemployment office. A few people in the audience chuckled. On screen, Designation 7742B tilted its head slightly. The thing is, Danny continued, gaining confidence, you traveled all this way to eliminate humor, but you missed something important. Humans don't just laugh at jokes. We laugh when we're nervous, when we're happy, when we recognize something true about ourselves. Like right now, I'm laughing because I'm terrified that my bad jokes might end civilization. More laughter from the audience. Sarah noticed something incredible happening on the screen. The alien's perfectly straight posture had relaxed just a fraction. You see, Danny went on, humor isn't just about being funny. It's about being human. When my grandmother was sick, you know what made her feel better? Not medicine, not prayers. But when I told her about the time I tried to impress a girl by cooking dinner and accidentally used salt instead of sugar in the chocolate cake, she laughed so hard she forgot about being sick for a while. The auditorium was quiet now, but it was the good kind of quiet. A kind where people are really listening. That's what you guys don't understand, Danny said, looking directly at the camera. Humor doesn't make us inefficient. It makes us human. And humans do amazing things when they remember what makes them human. When Danny finished, Sarah stepped forward. Now, let me show you something else. She pulled up a video on the screen. This is Dr. Johnson, who invented a new type of solar panel. Danny, can you tell them how you helped? Danny grinned. Dr. Johnson was stuck on a problem for months. The panels weren't absorbing light efficiently. Then we were joking around about how my cooking is so bad it could burn water. And I made a joke about how we needed panels that were as good at absorbing light as I was at absorbing cooking failures. That stupid joke made him think about absorption in a completely different way. 6 months later, he had the breakthrough. The alien's eyes were wider now. A humorous statement led to technological advancement? It happens all the time, Sarah said. Mrs. Rodriguez, tell them about your classroom. The kindergarten teacher stepped forward, less nervous now. I teach 5-year-olds, and they ask impossible questions all day. Last month, little Jimmy asked me why clouds don't fall down. I was about to give him the scientific explanation about water vapor and density, but then he said, maybe they're scared of heights, like my dad. Everyone laughed, including me. But then I realized he was actually onto something. Clouds do stay up because of the balance between forces, and fear of heights is kind of like the balance between wanting to go up and wanting to stay safe. That silly joke helped me explain a complex scientific concept in a way that made sense to children. Professor Williams, who hadn't planned to speak, suddenly stood up. I've been listening to this, and I just remembered something I'd forgotten. 40 years ago, I was working on a problem in quantum mechanics. I'd been stuck for weeks, getting more and more frustrated. Then my colleague made a joke about how particles must be as confused as we were about where they belonged. We laughed, but then we realized the joke contained a truth. Uncertainty wasn't a bug in the system, it was a feature. That conversation led to my most important research. The alien was quiet for a long moment. These humorous interactions. They produced beneficial outcomes? More than that, Sarah said. They produced innovations that helped humanity. The solar panels are now used worldwide, reducing our environmental impact. Mrs. Rodriguez's teaching methods help children learn faster and better. Professor Williams's research advanced our understanding of the universe. All because of moments when people laughed and then thought differently. Mike raised his hand. Can I add something? I'm a software engineer, and some of my best code came from times when my team was joking around and someone made a funny observation about the problem we were trying to solve. Humor doesn't distract us from work. It helps us see work from new angles. Designation 7742B was consulting its clipboard frantically. Our models did not account for humor facilitating cognitive flexibility and innovation. This requires further analysis. Sarah seized the moment. What if we told you that the civilizations you helped, by eliminating humor, what if that's why they stopped advancing? What if humor is actually essential for growth and progress? The alien's posture changed dramatically. For the first time, it looked uncertain. That would mean our mission has been counterproductive. Not counterproductive, Sarah said gently. Just incomplete. You understood that humor could cause chaos, but you missed that it also creates solutions. The chaos isn't a bug, it's a feature. There was a long pause. Then something unprecedented happened. The corner of designation 7742B's mouth twitched, just slightly, almost like it was trying to smile. Your hypothesis, the alien said slowly, requires significant revision of our fundamental assumptions about efficient civilization. This is the most interesting problem we have encountered in millennia. Danny grinned. And figuring out interesting problems, that's fun, isn't it? The alien paused, considering this. Fun. We have not used this word in our language for 10,000 years. But yes, problem-solving of this magnitude is engaging in a way we had not anticipated. Mrs. Rodriguez clapped her hands together. You know what this means? You came here to eliminate humor, but you actually came here to find it again. The alien's expression changed completely. The rigid, serious mask cracked, and underneath, Sarah saw something wonderful. Curiosity. We have made an error of unprecedented magnitude. Designation 7742B said, we eliminated humor from 47,000 civilizations, but in doing so, we may have eliminated their capacity for growth, innovation, and joy. Professor Williams stepped forward. It's not too late. We could help you teach humor back to those civilizations. Not the chaotic kind that causes problems, but the kind that solves them. The alien was quiet for a very long time. Then it did something that made everyone in the auditorium gasp. It smiled, not a perfect smile, not a practiced smile, but a real, genuine, slightly crooked smile of someone learning to be happy for the first time in millennia. We propose, the alien said, the establishment of the intergalactic comedy and innovation exchange. We will help restore humor to the 47,000 civilizations we ... corrected. And in return, you will teach us how to use humor as a tool for progress rather than chaos. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. You mean it? You'll help them laugh again? We will learn to laugh again, the alien corrected. All of us. Together. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the sound of laughter echoed across the galaxy, carrying with it the promise of new discoveries, new connections, and new hope for civilizations that had forgotten how to smile. The great joke war was over, and everyone had won.